Hey, Global Village, what's up? Okay, let's talk about what a hypothesis is, perhaps just taking a little more care to consider the actual meaning of the word. So, a hypothesis is a proposition or supposition based on a limited amount of evidence. Now, not every hypothesis is created equal. And to give you an example of a rather poor hypothesis, let's consider that you've just been in a serious car accident and several people have been badly injured, but miraculously you came out of it without a scratch. So you talk to a family member and you say, I just don't understand how this happened. Why am I injury free when everyone else got so badly hurt? And your family member replies to you, well, God works in mysterious ways. So that is, I guess you could argue, a hypothesis. Probably not a very good one. And one of the primary reasons you can say why is because it adds very little in the way of predictive power. It's not like you could take that statement and then predict that were you to be in another car accident, you would not get injured. So it's a bit of a non-answer to the question. Now, that relates now to a video by a creator called Potholer54, who was addressing some people in his audience who were wanting him to debunk various quotes from Greta Thunberg, and primarily because it seems they are very eager to see her discredited. Now, just by way of background, Potholer54 is a evidence-based YouTube content creator who basically goes through and debunks all sorts of fallacious ideas that people in the public eye may have. For example, he's debunked a lot of anti-vaxxers. He debunks young Earth creationists, all manner of people. Now, the interesting thing about Potholer is that he does actually have quite conservative ideals. And so as a consequence of that, a lot of his audience are conservatives, and it would seem to be that this is the primary reason why he's getting an unusually high number of people asking him to debunk Greta, because I am presenting a hypothesis that right-wing conservatives tend to not like Greta for reasons of misogyny. So I went ahead and I made a comment to state as much. So let's just go ahead and hear what I had to say.
I genuinely believe a lot of the contempt shown towards Greta Thunberg boils down to little more than simple misogynism. There's definitely a very strong correlation between those that openly deride her and those that hold strong conservative right-wing politics. In my opinion, she is a young woman who found herself somewhat unwittingly the focus of global attention and has chosen in most respects to rise to the challenge by dedicating her energy and life to the sort of big-ticket causes most of us can only talk about in a YouTube comment section.
Yes, so I think I made my opinion pretty clear there. Now, you may also pick up there that I was pushing back a little bit, or trying to just demonstrate a certain amount of contempt there towards the sort of people that tend to criticize Greta, because at the end of the day, these tend to be people that aren't doing half as much as she's doing in the world, and that would include me as well, to actually make a difference. So I personally think, whether or not I agree with everything Greta says, that she's a person that I think should be admired, because she is really doing something quite remarkable with her life, given the platform that she rather unwittingly found herself on when she was still very young. So yeah, she's not a person that I would target for ridicule or criticism. Now, the thing is, based on what I said there, which is ultimately a hypothesis, I would predict that as a result of a comment like this, I would get pushback from a right-wing conservative who didn't particularly appreciate what I had to say. So what was the first reply back I got, I wonder? Let's take a look. So here we go.
I genuinely believe, pity she's not black. Then you could have genuinely believed it was racism. After all, that is the sum of your genuine beliefs.
So there we go. Someone who is obviously not particularly happy with my hypothesis. Clearly they took exception to it, and they decided to, I guess, obliquely attack my bias by suggesting that were she black, I would just have all the more ammo to attack the poor white guys, the poor right-wing conservative white guys. So I would make the following points, as well as the fact that, as I said in my hypothesis, I think it has the predictive power that would suggest someone would make a comment exactly like that. I would further also point out that this person didn't actually offer any competing hypothesis to mine. All they did was try to attack my character and try to, I guess, poison the well by suggesting that my opinion is biased. Now, whether or not you think my opinion is biased, the reality is that I've presented a hypothesis, and I've presented a pretty strong correlation that seems to back it up. Now, I did make a further comment down here, which I will go ahead and play, rather verbose, but nonetheless, I think it just goes to further explain my position here.
At Bendy Bruce 16 hour.
Try that again. I need to highlight it for it to play the whole thing, because it's kind of like said too much.
Want to extend a sincere olive branch, or at least as much of a one as it is possible for someone like me to extend, by acknowledging what we all already know. Correlation does not equal causation. Of course, it's also true to say correlation does not rule out causation. In pointing out that people ranging from the likes of Andrew Tate, Ben Shapiro, and Tucker Carlson appear to have significant animosity towards Greta that I would describe at times as bordering on pathological, and that there is a very clear absence of that animosity from those who identify themselves with the liberal left, does not mean my hypothesis is correct. Of course you are welcome to disagree with me, but unless you can offer what seems to be a better explanation, and as Poth Oler has pointed out, desperately trying to hunt down misquotes from Greta isn't going to help your case, I really don't see a better explanation. Honestly, does anyone doubt it's middle-aged grown men who seem to be obsessed with attacking her character? I think it's time you guys got a new hobby, just saying.
Yeah, so in my normal smart-ass way, I just further pointed out that yes, it's just a hypothesis, but, you know, unless you're going to offer a better explanation of why these right-wing people seem to be so unreasonably triggered by Greta, then, you know, I'm going to come out and I'm just going to say, if it walks like a duck, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. All right, Bendy out.